to Bear Clooney Watches channel. For those visiting me for the first time, I am Bear Clooney, so I invite you to subscribe to my channel and join me on the search for perfect timepiece and some horological topics that we discuss occasionally on this channel. Now, I just want to mention, on that introduction to this video, that last bear, doesn't he resemble Bill Sanders big time? It's a Bear Sanders, for sure. Anyway, going back to the subject of this video today, I am not really into vintage watches. There is a couple of reasons for it. First and foremost, I am not as knowledgeable when it comes to vintage timepieces as someone who is or should be collecting them. Second reason, I am really bothered by any imperfections on the watch, and I do enjoy tremendous finish on the modern watches. Also, size of the vintage watches is not really suitable for me, as ideal size for me is 39 millimeter, okay, 38 millimeter for the dress piece, and then 40 millimeter as the ideal size, and 42 for some sports pieces. Panerai is exclusion. So I don't dislike them, don't misunderstand me. As a matter of fact, some of my favorite watches are re-editions of the heritage pieces, because the charm and the beauty of the vintage pieces is undeniable. However, I do have some vintage timepieces in my collection, and I kind of wanted to share them with you and give you some perspective on what do I enjoy for each individual timepiece. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump into Bear Clooney's watch studio and take a closer look at vintage pieces that Bear Clooney has picked from his collection for you. And here we are at Bear Clooney Watches Studio, taking a closer look at the Bear Clooney's picks from his collection in relation to vintage timepieces. So why don't we start? The first watch that I, Bear Clooney, would like to talk about is my Darwil watch. This is also a smallest timepiece in my collection at 34 millimeter. It comes from a very obscure watch brand today, but in 60s and 70s this was predominant brand that was competing for Balkan Yugoslavian market. Yugoslavia was the so-called communist country at that time, but very open to the Western world. And there were three, in the very beginning, there were three basically segments of the watch market in Yugoslavia. They were competing on three different levels. On the lowest level was the variety of Russian watches such as Raketa and so on. Then on the second level was actual Darwil, and on a higher level there was a Doxa, and later on Omega. So this was kind of what was predominantly available to me as a kid in Yugoslavia growing up. And it just happened that this watch was the first mechanical watch that I received as a gift from my father. And this is why this watch has a certain importance. It's very dear to my heart. And even though I don't wear it because of its really small 34 millimeter diameter size, I know how to appreciate this watch. Looking at it brings so many memories. It's very clean dial. I love the fact that it doesn't have a date. I love the small seconds on it. Now, Darwil as a brand, at that time could have been considered a micro brand. It was a kind of combination of Swiss and Italian production. The movement was produced in Italian region of Switzerland. The boutique in which most of Yugoslavians were purchasing this watch was located in Trieste, which is the border town to Yugoslavia, today Slovenia. And this watch is often found in that region. I love my sample because it's so clean. It's in really good condition with original box, with original strap. I put it on this leather NATO strap because sometimes I do put it on my wrist and I like how it looks on it. But there you go. This is the first vintage timepiece in my collection, which truly means a lot to me and carries a certain personal importance when it comes to horology and Bear Clooney. So what's the next watch that I want to talk about? Well, it would be maybe this Rado. This Rado, what do I like about it? Well, first, isn't this the most unique dial you've seen? This beautiful combination of black and white. By the way, this is automatic watch, again, Swiss production, Swiss made. Very good accuracy, actually, very clean example. Not too thick. It is unique dial. It's a Starliner, day-night, actually night-day. It has the day-date complication, which, to be frank, is not something I am looking for when it comes to vintage watches, because they don't have a quick set, and frankly, setting up a day and date in addition to that is quite a task. So I prefer mechanical vintage watches with time only. Now, the other thing I really like is the kind of really three-dimensional dial with these indices which are raised, and then this destruction on the crystal, the plastic crystal. It is quite appealing, quite aesthetically nice. This watch I actually do wear sometimes because the size is quite acceptable. And sorry, I just gotta put it on. I personally, I find that it is suitable. Here, take a look. It's a quite nice size. It's a 38 or 39 millimeter. Now I'm not sure. I think it's 38, and I think the size is very contemporary. So it does give me opportunity to enjoy it. On my wrist. Now, let me just take it off. When it comes to sizing, I'm talking about the sizing. I understand that the debate is ongoing, and there is a lot of people that feel that watches size 36, 34, and so on are acceptable as a modern timepieces, and they might be. It really depends from person to person. I find that argument kind of contradicting. It's almost like arguing a clothing size or a shirt size. It doesn't really have a unique measure. If we really want to talk about what is the closest to universal size, well, probably we refer to Rolex and most common size 40 millimeter that kind of suits everyone. What's the next piece I want to talk about? Well, here we go. It's a Poljot Strela. It is a beautiful chronograph produced in former Soviet Union, and this is original in every aspect of it. The movement is basically Russian reproduction of Lemania. This watch appeals to me for few reasons. Chronograph is, next to the GMT, my favorite complication. I like that it doesn't have a date. I like the clean dial for a chronograph. I like the historical aspect of this watch, as this watch was on the wrist of Sergei Leonov in his first spacewalk. So Shturmansky was the first watch in a space on the wrist of the first man in a space, Yuri Gagarin, and this watch was the first watch on the wrist of the Alexei Leonov, who was the first man completing the spacewalk. And that alone, for somebody who is space exploration fan and a buff, means a lot. This watch is contemporary size as well. It's a 38 millimeter. I like to wear it sometimes. I'm very careful with it because of the plastic crystal, hazelite crystal, because it's vintage. Vintage watches are not meant to be everyday timepiece. So obviously those are the elements that appeal to me and that make me enjoy certain vintage timepiece. What's the next one we're going to talk about? Well, let's look at this timepiece. This is timepiece that predominantly appeals to me because of the pop culture. This is Tag Heuer, which is a larger version of the one that appeared in the movie Wolf of the Wall Street, on the wrist of the obnoxious Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie, in which he claims this is, 30,000-40,000 timepiece, and in reality, obviously, it's not the case. It is gold-plated, it is very gaudy, it is very, this is aftermarket bracelet, because being a gold-plated and low-quality gold-plated, it's impossible to find the original bracelet that perfectly fits this watch. Why do I like this watch? Well, I like it because it's so loud and obnoxious. I like it because the size is contemporary. I like it because Tag Heuer is the brand that I have nothing against. As a matter of fact, I can enjoy that brand. I like it because of its story and because it is quite popular watch in the aspect of the pop culture, appearing in a very, very, how would I say, loud way for a watch in a very popular movie. So those were probably the reasons, and because I found that a sample that is in a great condition, which is also very important to me. I mentioned earlier that I am really bothered with the imperfections you can find on watches. So there you go. That's another vintage timepiece. This is a quartz, by the way, and it's original. Yes, original quartz movement from Tag Heuer from that time. So all these watches that I'm showing you here are basically, we're talking watches produced in 60s, 70s, Poljot in 60s, Poljot Strela. This Rado is from the 60s, 70s, the Starliner. This is a very much 70s timepiece and 80s. And the last one I want to touch on is a beautiful Longines, which is a solid gold timepiece. And I like that. I like that it's solid gold, so it will not have patina, which Clooney considers to be a damage. It has a beautiful gold dial, champagne gold dial. I like that it doesn't have a complication such as day or date. 36 millimeter. I wish it's 38. I really do. But you know what? It doesn't look terrible on my wrist. When I put it on, it's actually relatively okay, considering that it is a 100% dress piece. So yeah, I can wear this obviously as a dress piece, and those are the elements I like about this watch. The dial is just gorgeous. The fact that it's solid gold. I love that buckle. That's original buckle right here. I am fan of Longines. I mean, this is Longines from the time when watches of this brand were competing with Omega, with Rolex. This is from the time when Longines stood proudly as a brand. And then, it had to take its place under the umbrella of much larger company. However, even today, I'm a fan of Longines. They produce some really beautiful pieces, especially under their heritage line. And I think with their history and their production of heritage line, this brand proudly stands among the giants of the Swiss watch industry. Bunny Clooney loves Longines, and she has some beautiful pieces in her collection. By the way, Bunny Clooney actually has better vintage timepieces collection than me. She loves their size. She loves their look. She's also a fan of more time-only pieces. Again, this whole date, not quick set is definitely something that is annoyance. The other thing that bothers me with vintage pieces is non-hacking element on the movements. But okay, you know what? They have their beauty, they have their importance, and I can appreciate them. And as you can see, I own some of them. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation of what is in my collection. I have a few more, but I thought these samples kind of describe nicely what do I like about vintage pieces. Why do I have some of them in my collection? I forgot to mention this beautiful mechanical winding Omega desk clock, which is one of the favorite, if not the favorite clock in my clock collection. I love its size. I love the beautiful applied Omega logo. It's a 8 days reserve. Absolutely gorgeous watch, a clock. So let's wrap up this video. Let's go back to Bear Clooney's cave, and thank you so much for allowing me to present this part of my collection. And we're back at Bear Clooney's cave. I hope you enjoyed this presentation of few vintage pieces from my collection and my perspective on them. What makes me enjoy them and why are they part of my collection. At the end, once again, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to click on like, and if you wouldn't mind to join the search for perfect timepiece and share this hobby with me, and obviously support genuine watch enthusiast channel, please subscribe. At the end, as usually, all the best to all of you.